Hey everybody, happy Tuesday, August 22nd. Welcome to the Plant-Based Morning Show. We're back. I think we had a full week last week. Yeah, full week. Just a little delayed, or no, early start to Thursday show. This will be our second straight full week in a row, I believe. So we are rolling back in the swing of things. I was away for a golf trip on the weekend, including Friday. Doug was somewhere up in New England or something for a wedding. So anyway, we'll hear about all that, and then we'll jump into our stuff. We got some weather report items and an interesting article about Mediterranean diets with a surprising finding, in my opinion. So anyway, here's Doug. Let's find out. Doug, how are we doing today?
Hey, Matt, happy Tuesday, beginning of the week. Somebody told me earlier it's almost Friday, and it is not almost Friday. But
no, earlier today they told you that.
Yeah. But here we are. How's it going, Matt?
It's good.
How was the golf trip?
It was good, fun as always. Did not win, did not play particularly well. Had one good day at the beginning, and then I just kind of went slowly downhill.
From there, hopes really high at the beginning, and
they were a little high. I thought after the first day, I thought there's a good chance I'll be in this thing. But no, I finished third to last out of 20 people, so it wasn't a good
so not
showing.
Very good.
No.
But how much are you playing solo versus like team play?
You're always on a team. You're just you're scoring points for yourself, but your team's totals are, added up.
Oh, so you're playing your own ball. You're not playing captain.
Well, for most of it. There's some times when it is an actual scramble. That's a good point. So, yeah, it's a good mix.
Mr. Hudnall over on YouTube asked how many balls are in the water.
A whole lot. I think I lost probably 15 balls on the last day. The last day is at this really tough course.
In one day?
Yeah.
Man.
It's a tough course. It's like a 2-man scramble. And it's just tight. And you just, if your partner hits an okay ball, you kind of take a risky shot at it and, assume it's lost. So anyway, but and that coupled with playing badly, it's easy to lose a dozen balls that day. No problem.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And then the other days, between 1 and 3 per 18 holes. So it's another 12 balls.
So
anyway.
So let's talk food for real quick. What are you taking out on the golf course with you?
Well, I think Veg News last week had an article about Tiger Woods' favorite vegan snack for a golf course, and it was a peanut butter and banana sandwich. So I didn't do that, but I always go and buy some healthy food before this trip because they'll give you dinner that is pretty good. They have a vegan option. I got a veggie burger one time and a pasta dish another time. But everything else you're kind of on your own for. And so I just bought I bought broccoli and hummus. That was kind of my big snack thing, but I didn't bring that on the course. I had bagels with peanut butter on them was my typical course food, or some fruit, or some almonds, or I should say, and some fruit and some almonds. Just stuff like that. Really pretty, kept it healthy for the most part. A little bit of alcohol, not so much. It was fine. It was all good. Dale Stevens asked if Tiger is vegan. No, I don't think he's vegan at all.
But that's his favorite. That's his favorite vegan.
His favorite course snack happens to be vegan, and that's what Veg News was making a big deal about.
The accidental vegan.
Vegan. So anyway, that was good. Good time. I'm slightly inspired. Every year I'm thinking like I'm gonna really play a lot next year, so I can come back and be good. I feel that a little bit, but I just can't imagine playing 4 hours ever.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I'm just never gonna do that. And I'm not going to pay $50 for it or whatever.
9? Like, that's the problem, too. Is like, I don't really want to just play half a game. I want to play a full game.
A friend of mine was talking about this on this trip. He said, I don't know if he was talking about it or he heard that it was a thing, but they were saying golf courses should be divided into 6s, and you should have 3 6s. So then you can go play 2 of them and get kind of a perfect amount of golf in, which wouldn't, it doesn't feel like a complete golf thing, but that would be the sweet spot as far as time goes, I think. Because after you get to 14,
that'd be what, like 3 hours, 12 holes.
Yeah, could be less if you were fast. Yeah. But yeah, 2.5, 3. I also heard that that the Topgolf model that is being applied to actual golf courses, like par 3 executive style courses, where there's drinking encouraged. There's all kinds of games. It's meant to be less formal, and they're just saying go play golf for hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it takes. Buy the drinks, and somehow I don't know what exactly it is, but there was something about it just made it feel more like a plastic environment, like just like a bowling or something.
Like the what?
Like bowling, like a go
Like
do
bowling.
something with your friends. You know, it's not
Yeah.
it's not a sport like golf. It's just like go do something while your kids are playing soccer or whatever.
Well, that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah,
right?
I thought it was a very cool idea.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's my weekend.
Here's my challenge to you, Matt.
Okay. What do we got?
You never actually follow through with challenges around hanging out with me, but I'm gonna throw this one out here anyway. Sometime before next year's trip, we're gonna play the Black Mountain course together.
Okay, that's a pretty good challenge. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'd enjoy that.
Yep.
Yeah, that can definitely be arranged. The way I'll follow through on it is if I'm actually trying to practice golf, and I can use that maybe as incentive. If I'm not playing golf, practicing, I just have no desire to go play golf anywhere. Doesn't matter who I'm hanging out with. It could be Tiger Woods, and I'm saying I just don't feel like going.
You'd be like, nah.
Yeah,
pass.
no, stay home and play Zelda or read or something else. But
no, I'm with you though, because like if you're just going out for a good time, right? For 4 hours of a good time, like there's probably things I'd rather spend 4 hours doing, and
exactly.
a lot cheaper. You know,
right? And if you're not playing, it's not really that fun to play golf, right? It's not that fun to hit bad shots and just kind of struggle, no matter who you're with, even if it's good company. It can be.
It's fun for the first 12 holes, first 10 holes. I mean, right? I mean, but then you start getting tired, and then you get tired of chasing things around, and yeah,
exactly. So all right, well let's do that. That'll be partly my motivation to practice, and we'll get ourselves out there. That'd be a good time. All right, how's your weekend go? Wedding? I saw a picture somewhere. Oh, in Slack.
Oh yeah.
Saw Kareem, voice of the NMA radio intro.
That's right. Good old Kareem. Yeah, no, it was great. We were up in Portland, Maine. It was just me without the family for this wedding, which was they were missed, of course, but it was a small wedding and an opportunity to be with some guys and be with some of my old friends and not worry about bedtimes or anything like that. So so that was good. Yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun. It was the weather was perfect. The ocean is nice and crisp up there. Had some good dips, which felt a little bit like cold plunges, although it wasn't that cold, but it still like kind of shocked the system a little bit.
Right.
And drank a lot of alcohol, which yesterday. So I did, and like it was kind of one of those times, and I wasn't like crazy hungover or anything like that, but it's like I just don't want to do that anymore. I ran this morning with the guys, and I was like, I just felt so lethargic, and after feeling pretty good about where my fitness was just a week ago, know, and I just felt like so like heavy and lethargic and I was like, man, all I did was just party for a weekend, and and it just sets me back so much. So anyway, that's where I'm feeling right now. It is feeling like I want to I want to take better care of my nutrition and alcohol habits.
Yeah, I know the feeling for sure. And sometimes it's good to go do that. I think one time I wrote an article in the early days of Omeat Athlete called "Nothing Inspires Like a Hangover" or something. And it was a day when I was going to do a 12-hour run or 12-mile run, and I ended up not because I drank too much the night before. I don't know what the event was or anything. But I remember feeling like really inspired. Like I was like, man, like that, like enough is enough. Like I gotta like start taking this more serious. Whatever I was training. For, and sometimes you just do that and it's good for you. So yeah, I know that feeling. It's just not that fun to. It's just not worth it. It's okay. You can have just as much fun either having very.
I mean, I had a really good time. Like I had a really great weekend and I laughed a lot and had a great time. So like don't regret any of it. I'm not saying that at all.
Of course not. Right.
But it just made me. It kind of got me fired up to like prioritize some health for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I did do something that I really hadn't done before, or at least not very well, which especially traveling by myself, which was stock up on a whole bunch of snacks like nuts and stuff, nuts and fruit and things, and bring all that to the airport with me. And so I didn't have to rely so much on the airport food. And that was really nice. That was worked out. Yeah,
there you go. There's a good health decision made.
I also wasn't sure what kind of food would be available to us. We were kind of in the middle of nowhere all weekend, and there ended up being plenty of vegan food. But I stocked up on a bunch of things assuming that I wouldn't have all that much food, so that if I had to just eat nuts for a weekend, I could do that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that what you said about the airport, that works. That works to a lot of events and occasions. You just bring fruit and nuts, and you can get full on that for sure. It doesn't mean you're not going to crave an actual, hot meal, but it works for a lot of stuff. So I like the tip. Speaking of not drinking, Helen DeGennaro, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's our Athletic Brewing ambassador who gives us Athletic Brewing non-alcoholic beers. She said during the Plant-Based Morning Show drought, and she put this in Discord, which is discord.com/nomadathlete if you want to join that for free. She put up a link to Andy Ramage's 1 year no beer episode on the Troll podcast, which was pretty old, I think. She said she had dipped into some of her old podcasts during our drought.
We did a 1 year no beer episode, didn't we?
Yes, we had him on. We had Andy on No Madathlete Radio at some point. Really, really early on. I think like several years before that Rich Roll thing, or at least a year before that. And that inspired me to do a whole month of no drinking. But anyway, so she shared that. She said she doesn't drink leading up to races, even though she otherwise might. Or maybe she sticks to Athletic Brewing before races. And she just said she thought it was interesting that we were kind of scaling back a little bit on the alcohol when we had so much vigor for it. I don't know, 6 months ago. I remember I said I could not even do a 3 weeks off of it challenge. I was just too much fun, too good. I depend on it too much for that weekend drinking. So I said I'll do no weekends, or I'll do no weekdays. But I'm in a totally different place now with it, and I'm glad. It's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes those things, like, you have to push back against it a little bit. I mean, this isn't just alcohol, but just like any sort of healthy thing, you have to kind of push back against it a little bit to then come to terms with it on your own.
Yeah,
I mean, this challenge was not something, it just kind of happened organically with Compliment, and we both thought it was a pretty good idea, but you weren't quite there yet to do it. And so now, like, I mean, I don't know if you're giving up beer for 3 weeks, but
just not drinking at home, and it's good.
Yeah. All right. Steven's here. He says, congrats on winning the World Cup to Spain.
Spain beat England 1-0, which is cool. I'm glad to see that. Just because I like Spain. I don't care about England either way. They're okay. Take them or leave them. So yeah, that's good. U.S. women had a not very good exit. I think it was the first round of the knockout stage. Lots of controversy around that, which we're not going to get into here. Yeah, so that's it. And then Messi won Inter Miami won the Leagues Cup, thanks in large part to Messi and the other Barcelona players they brought in. So that's cool. I mean, MLS is on the map suddenly. Everyone this weekend was asking about Messi. So
is MLS on the map, or is Messi on the map? Is Inter Miami?
Yeah, it's funny because to prove your point, everyone's saying, well, now the MLS is on the map. They haven't played an MLS game, I don't think. They've played only the Leagues Cup, which is granted against some MLS teams, and mostly it was because I don't know if Miami played any Mexican teams, but it was a United States and Mexico thing. And so they've been playing that cup. They haven't played MLS games. I don't even know if Messi's played an MLS game yet.
Oh, really? All of the games have been tournament games?
All this has been the Leagues Cup, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's been an MLS game that they played. I don't really know. But mostly it's not. So they won that Leagues Cup. Messi's 44th trophy or something like that as a professional. Yeah. So anyway, American soccer is being noticed, but we'll see what happens as it gets back to like kind of normal league play.
Yeah. I wonder how it's impacting other teams. Like if ticket sales on non-Miami games,
right?
Just like that's general DC United versus Charlotte FC, like. Is it impacting that at all?
I would imagine that after they play a game, like, people get excited to hear Messi's in town or that our team's against Messi, and you watch it on TV or you go to it. Then maybe after that, pay a little more attention. I don't know. That would be my hope for the league. I don't know. So anyway, that's all that stuff going on. Not a whole lot else in mainstream news. I saw in Morning Brew that people were ordering way less food and picking up, which we've been talking about recently. Because of expense, mainly. They just did not like the extra added cost of the delivery. So food, some restaurants had kind of specialized in, invested in delivery, and that was not really working. Like Chipotle, I guess, was a delivery focused thing. They were getting delivery focused, and that's just been not working. So anyway, that's it. But yeah, no like mainstream news. All vegan stuff today, or plant-based stuff.
There's lots of major news happening right now, but not necessarily.
I mean, mainstream
stuff we talk about on the podcast.
Plant-based morning show content.
Yeah.
Is it though? I actually don't know any major news happening. Give me one headline from the major world, other than Maui, whatever that is, earthquake or something, hurricane.
Maui earthquake. Oh,
what was it? What was? I don't know what it is.
It
Some
was
sort
a
of natural
wildfire
disaster
that killed hundreds of people.
Okay, all right, wildfire.
But there was a hurricane and an earthquake, the hurricane in California. But I don't think that was
same time. Perfect storm.
Yeah, perfect storm. Same moments.
That's so good.
Okay. I mean, lots of political stuff. We don't have to get into that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. That sounds good to me. I don't know. Didn't have a clue that anything political was going on. But that's what a golf trip is good for. Get away from it all.
Yeah. That is good. Mr. Jeffrey says tickets for the Whitecaps, my local MLS team. I didn't know that MLS was in Canada.
Yeah, I think there are 3 Canadian teams, maybe.
Okay, are normally $35 to $80 Canadian. When Messi is scheduled, they jump to $400-ish.
Yep. That's happening everywhere. And Messi, by the way, has share of Apple and I think MLS, because MLS has a deal with Apple. So he's cashing in if he raises the whole level of these brands.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did see that the actually Morning Brew had a thing on the Messi effect as far as finances go, and the subscriptions have gone up for Apple TV by or whatever, the MLS, whatever, has gone up by, I don't know, 3,000% or something. I mean, it was huge. Yeah. Wow. It was really big.
Yeah, I mean, we had it, but we didn't really watch much except for Charlotte FC games. Suddenly, our viewing went up 10x for sure when he started playing. Yeah.
Final question before we jump in: have you beaten Zelda yet?
Oh no, not even close. I mean, I didn't play all weekend, obviously, because I was on my trip, and fooled around with it a little bit yesterday. There's I realize it's just too big of a game for me to play it the way I'm playing. I need to start just trying to finish it instead of exploring the open world. So I'm just wasting too much time. So no, still on Zelda, but not beating. Starting to think about FIFA though. FIFA, which is no longer called FIFA due to some kind of, I don't know, broken agreement between EA Sports and FIFA. Now
it's no longer FIFA?
Nope. This is the first year it'll be called EAFC, like Electronic Arts Sports. FC. It's basically the same game. I don't know if there's any difference without FIFA. Maybe one team or something won't be able to be called that name. They'll be called some other name. But it's the same. So that's coming up out in a month. So I need to get Zelda done before that gets out so that I can move on to the next unhealthy video game obsession and not have 2. All right. We're ready to jump into plant-based news, what everyone is here for.
Yes. 20 minutes in. Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Weather report for Tuesday, August 22nd. Interesting one today. They're all kind of long stories, so just be forewarned. Blackbird Foods, who I haven't tried anything yet, but they have teamed up with Daring, whose stuff I have tried. I tried their grilled chicken bites, whatever they are, and it's not bad. But Blackbird has added 3 plant-based pizzas to their lineup at Whole Foods, one of which I'm particularly excited about, and that is the Buffalo, they're calling it, which is topped with vegan cheese, take it or leave that, fresh onions, and Daring's plant-based chicken, of course, with some sort of buffalo sauce. That launched nationally at Sprouts last spring, and now it's at Whole Foods. I think these are only in the Southern Pacific region of Whole Foods, but also there's the Margarita, the Supreme, and this Buffalo one. So that's kind of exciting. I don't know. I'm not really usually interested in these new frozen foods involving plant-based meats that come out, but Buffalo chicken pizza, that's something that I'd be pretty excited to try.
Yeah, I would definitely try that.
Yeah, would you want that over the Supreme, Doug? Supreme, it seems like Supreme has more toppings, which you might like. Sage and fennel sausage crumbles, fresh green peppers, red onions. Well, it's about the same amount of toppings.
I mean, that sounds pretty good too.
You definitely wouldn't touch the margarita. That's just way too
that would be a waste of a pizza. A waste of a $10 pizza right there.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. I have gotten back into frozen pizzas.
Yeah. Yeah? Well, like what brand?
What's that?
What brand are you getting?
Let's
OG?
see. Yeah, OG. Yep.
Yeah, with the cauliflower crust.
With cauliflower crust and I think it's Beyond Meat on top.
Yep.
Yeah, like every other week, maybe we're kind of grabbing that as an easy dinner. It's been nice.
They are nice. I mean, that is definitely an easy dinner, and when you're in a pinch, you grab one of those. Pretty tasty. Although you need more like 3 of them to feed your whole family.
I know you. I mean, right? To be like, I can eat almost an entire one by myself, and then I'll do. So we'll get 2 of them, and then the kids will just have a little bit of it, and Katie and I will eat the rest, and then we'll just do like a salad that's just greens basically. And eat that on the side.
Yeah, that's good. If you're gonna have pizza, you should always have salad. That's one of my ground rules. Just makes it a little bit more acceptable of a meal. All right, on to the next. So I guess Prince William has something called the Royal Foundation's Earthshot Prize. You know about this, Doug? You aware of this?
No, but he's a big environmentalist, so I didn't know that.
Okay, so anyway, this is I guess it's a play on moonshot, and this is a thing where they award $1 million to 5 businesses who are working on environmental projects, and just so that they can keep doing the thing. Well, a league of high-profile media figures, this according to Vegconomist, including 3 Oscar winners, have written an open letter to Prince William requesting that they add a category that's just for plant-based food companies. I guess because they believe plant-based food is such a big part of this environmental thing, and I guess they're getting overlooked. So anyway, they've written this letter. Along with it, a £1 million prize has been furnished by Generation Vegan, who I've never heard of before. But their letter begins: Your Royal Highness Prince William, Earthshot Moon Prize Council member Sir David Attenborough was right when he said, "We must change our diet. The planet can't support billions of meat eaters. The fact is, we simply cannot fix our planet without changing the way we eat." So that went on and asked for this thing. But the people signing it included Emma Thompson. Doug, name one movie from each of these actors without looking into the thing.
Harry Potter. Okay. Good luck, you.
Is she? Yeah, you got it. You didn't read those?
No, I did. I had already read it though.
Is she Hermione?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Olivia Coleman. Never heard.
No idea who that is.
I'm guessing the Oscar winners.
She's from The Crown. Is she?
That's what it says. Are you reading this still?
She's not Hermione. Who's Emma Thompson? This is no. She's 64 years old.
I was gonna say Hermione seems a little young to be signing a letter.
No, I mean, dude, that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. All right, yeah, Emma Thompson is not Emma Thompson's 64.
Who was she? I wonder.
I don't know.
Let us know. Let us know on the.
For the record, Harry Potters are also in my nerd do not watch list of movies. I don't get into those.
See, Emma Watson. There was an Emma.
Okay.
Emma Watson.
Well, Emma Thompson's also in Harry Potter. That must have been confusing on set to have these 2
Emmas.
What? Emma what? Yeah, Emma son. All right. Olivia Coleman, we said her. I know Alicia Silverstone. That's one. That's the one I could do. That Clueless, Batman and Robin. Probably couldn't name another movie besides those 2, and I would have forgotten Batman and Robin. Was she Catwoman? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Mark Rylance, Gemma Whelan, James Moore, Justina Adorno,
Eddie Falco. You missed that one.
Eddie Falco. Okay. Sharon Osbourne. I know her. No, of her.
You love her? So I said.
No, of her.
Oh.
Annie Lennox. I know who that is. Deborah Meaden, George Monbiot, Chris Peckham, Benjamin Zephyr.
Yeah, I mean, look, these are decorated people. I assume they're all English.
Are these A-listers though, or are these like 3 of them, 2 of them A-listers? I guess if you win an Oscar, you're an A-lister.
Yeah, I mean they're A-listers, but I could not have named a movie for all but 2 of them. Yeah. Anyway,
it's good. Yeah, big deal. I mean, it's still the reason I included this.
Kate Rivercat says Emma Thompson is massively famous. I mean, she is, right? I mean, look, if you Google her and look at her face,
she hasn't been anything famous. Nanny McPhee.
Emma Thompson hasn't been in anything famous.
Well, the best they got here is Harry Potter, because I've never heard of Nanny McPhee, Good Luck to You, or Leo Grande. Doesn't sound massively famous to me.
I mean. Love Actually. She was in Love Actually. Men in Black 3.
Why didn't they include those?
Saving Mr. Banks.
I don't know that one. All right, moving on. This is good. Anyway, I'm not diminishing this. I mean, I kind of am. I'm mostly just making fun of how little I know about any of these Hollywood people. But it sounds like a big deal that all these people signed this letter. I doubt he's going to listen, but good for them. Next up, cultivated meat. Shifting to cultivated meat. Simple Planet, which is a biotech company based in South Korea, they're doing something new in the cultivated meat world. They, instead of growing pieces of meat or seafood, they're producing cultivated meat powder and cultivated unsaturated fat. And these are designed to improve the nutritional profile of foods while enhancing their flavor. So they're going to sprinkle these things into, I mean, I don't know what, a plant-based beef jerky maybe, or something else that's kind of going to still use plant-based ingredients mostly, but add in a little bit of cultivated meat flavor, which maybe would be the cheapest way to get a little cultivated meat in your product, because it sounds like it's going to be expensive. I don't know. Kind of interesting.
I mean, it definitely gets past the ick factor, right? Of like you don't have to get the texture right.
You're right.
Or anything like that.
You're right about that. It certainly would do that. I didn't really think about that. As long as you don't think powdered meat is icky.
I mean, that is icky, right? But like, but you're not at least eating a steak that just doesn't feel quite like a steak or something.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Seems like a risky move to invest a whole lot in that. And similarly, I'm going to skip one and come back in a second. The other one that seems like an interesting move to risk a lot on is there's a company called Omeat that is a cultivated meat company in LA, California, founded by world-renowned tissue engineer and former MIT Harvard professor Dr. Ali Kadem Hosseini. Anyway, they have worked behind the scenes to develop an alternative to fetal bovine serum, which is the highly controversial, very cruel growth medium that involves actually killing fetuses to get this stuff. Well, now it's this huge investment they've done. They use bovine plasma instead. So, I mean, it's just a totally non-vegan thing. If you're trying to appeal to vegans here, you missed because they just have to take weekly blood draws from cows to do this. So like that just totally turns me off of it. Like I get that there's a little bit of animal cells involved in cultivated meat. And if it's just like take cells one time and then you make this huge, large amount of meat from it, I could probably get past that. You can stop calling me a vegan if you want because of that, but I'm okay with that. This would be, I don't want something that's grown in cow blood. Like it just seems strange to me. Right? Are we on the same page there, Doug?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's just an odd thing to have been behind the scenes developing this thing. You would think if they were kind of doing this behind the scenes work, they would have done it on some sort of vegan solution, which would maybe be the bigger payoff. But maybe it's not. Maybe for the mainstream people, that doesn't matter at all. And the fact that they're not slaughtering fetuses and instead just taking injection or taking extractions from cows on a weekly basis, and those apparently they freely graze on a farm in California. Those cows, so. I guess people could just look past everything else and say this is okay. So anyway, it's happening. Interesting though. Some people that innovations and things are happening in this cultivated meat world as companies try to separate themselves.
Yeah, I mean you might kind of have to, right? I mean, figure out how to do it better or different.
Yeah, because if you're not first, it's going to be hard, I think, to be a leader. And last thing, starting yesterday, this is from Veg News. Petco, who's a major pet food retailer, they're rolling out their first fully vegan line of dog food and treats. Not the first food they've had. They've had V-Dog, Halo, V-Planet, and Gather. But this is the first fully vegan line sold at any major pet food retailer in the country. Maybe those aren't even at Petco. I don't know. But the line is called Wild Earth. That's the company, and it's their maintenance and performance formulas. Veggie chicken kebab, classic roast, golden rotisserie, and this sounds like gourmet dog food, and treats in peanut butter, banana and cinnamon, and strawberry and beet flavors for the discriminating dog palate. So that's kind of cool. I mean, makes it seem a little less niche, right? Somehow when you're buying something called V-Dog for your dog, which by the way I've never done, I don't know why we'd never really have tried or thought about vegan dog food. It just raises, you tell people that your dog eats this stuff called V-Dog. I think people say, well, I mean, does that actually work? And who cares what people think? But it just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this really what the dog is going to need to thrive? Somehow when there's a whole line and it's all about that, it just feels a little less niche.
And you get it right next to the other stuff. You don't have to special order it.
Right. Then it doesn't feel much different from buying Beyond Burgers.
Yeah. How is your foster puppy? Miss Jeffrey and I both want to know.
Oh, she's good. She's not a puppy. She's probably 3 years old. We thought she was 1, but I think she's about 3. And she's very needy. She climbs all over you. So she's great for, like, the kids love going to sleep with her because she just wants to like cuddle with them and just wants to be really tight. But like if you're trying to do work, whatever, she just climbs all over you. So I don't know what would have happened to cause that. I was actually wondering that today. What would have happened in her life to make her so clingy? But it's good. Erin's doing a lot of work training her and trying to get her into a dog ready to be shipped out to someone.
So you're not going to keep her. I've seen all these. I've seen Erin throw up a couple photos of with the kids with the dog, and I'm thinking maybe this is the one that sticks around.
No, just photogenic because she cuddles so much. So yeah, I don't think so. We'll see, but maybe after Erin trains her, she'll build a bond or something. I don't know. One day I'll bring her on this camera. You can see her. Anyway, there's your weather report. We got probably just one thing today. We have some news about mushrooms doing really well, which is good because you predicted that, Doug, and we haven't really been talking about it much, but some retailers are saying massive, like 5 times increase in sales of niche mushrooms and things. So it kind of is happening. Maybe we'll get there tomorrow or put it in the weather report or something. But the one I want to talk about today is from Veg News, and here's their headline: Study: Plant-forward Mediterranean lifestyle lowers risk of dying from cancer by 28%. So 2 interesting things in that headline. One is that they mention Mediterranean lifestyle. They don't just say diet. So we'll get to in a second to why that is, and that turns out to figure very prominently in this. The other thing, they say plant-forward Mediterranean. That's the Veg News spin here, because there's no mention of plant-forward on anything else in the diet that I could tell, or in the study. It's sort of just that Veg News wants to kind of claim this as our own. So we're going to call it a plant-forward Mediterranean.
But a Mediterranean diet is plant-forward.
Right. But the more accurate headline would have been: Mediterranean lifestyle lowers risk of dying from cancer by 20%.
Yeah.
Right. It's confusing. I thought this meant, it's a focused on plants version's even better. No, not that. Just regular old Mediterranean lifestyle.
I'm not offended by that. I mean, they're just describing. It's a descriptor of the Mediterranean diet.
A descriptor that favors their slant.
Oh, of course. But it's Veg News. Why are they writing about a random diet? It's because it's plant forward, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's fine. And I that's what you would do. If I ran a site that was a vegan news site, I would say that too.
All right, here's the question for you real quick.
Okay.
Sorry. Never mind. Right. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. All right. So anyway, what this is, they looked at a big data set that they have. We've mentioned this in other things too. This was published, by the way, in the Mayo Clinic Proceedings. They looked at the UK Biobank cohort, which is 110,000 members in it, ages 40 to 75. And that's data set that's used by a lot of studies. What they did here was those people had been surveyed about their lifestyle within 3 categories: their food consumption, their dietary habits, and their physical activity, rest, and social habits. So food consumption separate from dietary habits. I think food consumption is the actual amounts and foods that you eat, whereas the habits was more like the context in which you eat those things, maybe. I don't know. I couldn't get totally clear on that. But the other categories obviously is like totally outside of food. It's just what you do with the rest of your time, which has in the blue zones, which is, by the way, two blue zones are Mediterranean diets. Those are prominent factors, but I've never really known how prominent, and I've always wondered. And they're the ones that are kind of hard to really implement in your life. For me, you can always change your diet. That's not too hard. Right. But to start like talking to people more or joining more clubs or whatever, that's just not that easy to change. Like you might make a little effort, but it's hard to, for whatever reason, for me anyway, it's hard to change this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, after a follow-up of 9 years, the study revealed that participants adhering to a Mediterranean lifestyle had a 29% lower risk of all-cause mortality and 28% lower risk of cancer mortality. So that's exactly Veg News's words there, and that sums it up. So that was all very interesting. I mean, those are huge numbers that just, they're basically 30% chance less of dying during this 9-year follow-up period.
Which is huge.
Yeah. If you ate and lived this way.
1 in 3.
And this for people between 40 and 75. So it's not just people who are near closer to death because of their later age. It's a big range that we're talking about here. Anyway, here's the interesting part to me. The study itself, Veg News didn't get into these, but the study itself actually cited the actual like risk reduction factors, like the amount by which each of these 3 factors would lower your risk. And what I have them here in front of me, let's make sure I'm getting this right. The not the dietary habits one, the food consumption one, that was like 90% of that gave you a 90%, of the risk. If you did that one, right? That reduced your risk by 10% overall of these things. The dietary habits one is 0.8. So that's like a 20% reduction in risk from that. And the lifestyle one was 0.71. So that's like 30% reduction of these things. So that's where the bulk of these benefits are happening. And then I'm guessing if you had all 3 of these things.
I'm not following the math here. What?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not 100% clear on this either. It's statistical, stuff where they are assigning relative risk factors to each of these parts of the diet. So some people might have had only one of them, right? Some people might have only had the lifestyle piece of the Mediterranean and not the dietary part. Mm-hmm. And they can use that, and they can look at all of these things, and people had different ones, and they can sort of, tease out which one is the most important factor in there.
Okay.
Right.
And lifestyle was.
What it sounds to me kind of, this is probably a misinterpretation, but that the lifestyle one alone, if you only did that, you got a 0.72 relative risk factor, meaning a 30% reduction in risk from just that one, which, doesn't quite go with the idea that the whole thing supposedly gives you a 29 or 28% reduction.
Yeah.
I don't quite get that. But anyway, but you can just from this get a sense of the relative importances. That one was 0.72. The dietary habits 0.83, and the actual food consumption is 0.9. So the lifestyle one's the most important. That's the upshot of this.
So you want that number to be lower?
Yes, right, because that's your relative amount of risk compared to one. One would be right on target. So if you have 0.5, you'd have half as much of that risk.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So lifestyle, which I would have said that's probably the least important one, turns out to be the most important one. This, your connection with other people, physical activities included here. So that's a pretty, I guess, slightly less woo-woo kind of thing to me, right? If you go do exercise, you're probably going to live longer. Whereas if you meet with people once a week, it's just a little harder to see that. If you have good friends, have a good support network. And I believe it because you do see it over and over in research that stuff really does matter. Loneliness, I think, is like the new smoking. I think I've heard a few times that being lonely has huge, everything's the new smoking.
I know. It's actually the new sitting. Loneliness is the new sitting.
Right. Has replaced
sitting was the new smoking. So you gotta.
That's right. So anyway, so that's all just very interesting to me. And
so what's a part of a Mediterranean lifestyle? Like, what can we actually take away from that?
That's a good question. And I don't know if we have that written out somewhere specifically. Veggie mostly focuses on the diet part, not surprisingly.
Physical activity, they mentioned physical activity, rest, and social habits. But I want to know more about that. Like how much physical activity? How much rest?
Yeah. We don't, and that's what I was trying to get to by looking at the study itself. I couldn't find what the actual questions were that people had to say yes to. So I don't know. And I'd love to know what those other habits are. Like why are these things what about these things is Mediterranean, right? It's good, of course, to have a sense of purpose and have a friend group you meet and be in touch with when you're older, to be in touch with your younger relatives. That's all really good. But is that particularly Mediterranean? I never knew that. I thought Mediterranean was just the diet.
Right.
So I don't really understand that. And I would love to know more about that. So hopefully we can find out that somewhere. The whole article you can't get without being part of a major university or the whole study.
Yeah, well, somebody can dig into that for us. Let us know.
Yeah, someone with a university tie-in that you can go get studies. Go get this for us. Send it over.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah, it is good. And I like Mediterranean diets a whole lot, as I've said many times. By the way, they also said that this was British people doing this that's not Mediterranean. And these people making it work outside of the actual Mediterranean area. And that was one of the things that they thought was significant here, that this shows that you can replicate this elsewhere. So that's a good thing. But anyway, the very nature of this diet, as in that it is plant forward, as Veg News puts it, without being a vegan lifestyle. It can be if you wanted to. You can certainly eat a vegan Mediterranean lifestyle without drastically altering it. But I just think because it doesn't completely forbid meats and fishes and things like that, I think it's something that can be appealing to a lot of people For example, John Goodman lost 200 pounds with this diet. Now, I can name some John Goodman movies. The Babe he was in, that was a good one. I think he was Roseanne's husband in that show. That's all I got. I got 2. Anyway, he lost 200 pounds, and I don't think he went vegan. I think his version included animal products. So I don't know. I like it for that reason. I think it's accessible, and that's a good thing. Gets people eating less meat because they don't have to give it up.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great, and I probably like the lifestyle. I just don't know enough about it.
Yeah, me too. So would love to find that out. Yeah. Anyway, I have, believe it or not, been valuing those things more recently, and trying to figure out what to do. Like I think I heard Seth Godin talking about a community orchestra, and how he mentioned he was on Tim Ferriss a while ago, and he was just talking about how these people he's just venturing, guessing that they're much happier than people who I think he said are in a regular non-community orchestra because they're not getting paid for it and they're just there, they're just having fun. And he said that's a good thing. So I don't know. I've been trying to think of like how do you get involved with that? How do you get involved these days? No one does stuff anymore. What's there to get involved in?
I do stuff. Yeah.
What's there to get involved in? Playing golf with you?
Well, the problem is you're traveling all the time because of soccer.
Right. True. I can get involved with the parent group, which I am.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah.
You can play golf with me.
Play golf with you, yeah.
Once a year.
Yeah. I got this annual golf trip another time a year.
Yeah, the annual golf trip. That's good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you're gonna notice a shift in tone from me. I'm gonna start finding more stuff to do like this or like that, and I'll talk about it.
Okay, good. I'm excited to hear that.
All right, good. Stay plant-based on Discord. Right, only 11 minutes ago. It says, heard you guys chatting about Blackbird Pizza. My friend got the buffalo chicken one at Sprouts and said it was the best frozen pizza he's had. So
cool.
There's a good reason to go get that pizza. Whole Foods, if you're in the Pacific South, is that what's called? Southwest, but Sprouts Pacific. Anywhere else. Yeah, South Pacific. Isn't South Pacific more like the islands?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our show. Anything else, Doug, today before we?
Steven recommends the November project.
Oh, okay. As a thing to get involved with?
Yeah.
Too early wake up. Can't do that. If I have to be up at 6, I'm out. You're doing a November project of sorts, Doug, right? That's what you and your friends
I've never
do.
been to one. No, never. I mean,
but your friend group, you guys run early, right?
Yeah. We have our own November project. Meet at 5. Meet at 5:30. 5:30.
You didn't come to the Runner's World trip to a November project? That must have been a different Runner's World event.
Was that Runner's World?
We went to one. Yeah, I don't know if you were there or not, but we went to one.
It's possible. That actually kind of sounds familiar.
Everyone got their shorts like tattooed or whatever.
Oh no, I don't think stenciled. I did do that. I don't think I was there for that.
Well, I don't see what the hype is about, honestly.
But yeah, the runners group. You should start your own runners group.
I'm not gonna do that. Don't like running enough. I really don't. Maybe I'll start having people come weightlift in my garage with me.
There you go. Start a little in-house gym.
Yeah, get the Fight Club underground.
Neighborhood dads to come over and
yeah,
exactly, like Fight Club. Yeah, and sit around.
Yeah,
fight each other.
We could.
What happens in the Frazier gym stays in the Frazier gym. You know.
That's right. First rule of Frazier gym is you do not talk about it.
that's what I was looking for. There you go.
All right. Well, that's good. We'll be back tomorrow. 23-hour break. Then we'll be back. But yeah,
I want to talk about these mushrooms because I had something to say about them. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. Maybe we'll put that in the weather report. I'll pull out the stat of it. We'll talk about it. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, enjoy your Tuesday.